Now, first and foremost, just a disclaimer, please do not get offended by my personal taste in this video, because I'm going to do some outrageous things and I'm going to be throwing things into the red, all kinds of craziness, just to break the rules, because I really want you to understand the importance of how feeling is more important than the technical. But let's check this track out together. Honestly, when you just approach things in a super technical way, sometimes we end up missing out on some amazing moments of accidents and just that kind of chaotic creativity. For example, listen to this kick and bass. Now, if you listen carefully, you can hear like that kick. It isn't even hitting at the same time as the bass every single time. In some ways, they're out of phase, but the whole point of it was for it to just feel like it's breaking up. Like if I play this without anything on it, have a listen to this. In the context, you can hear how this whole track is just falling apart. So this thing was a key ingredient. So I added like distortion onto the bass, but then after that, I added even more distortion and clipping on the bus, which made it feel like this. But for me, that's still not enough. So then I added this SSL-G bus, and I even pushed the makeup gain so it was slightly going into the red so that we get a bit of distortion going into this clipper so we could drive it even more. But then that still wasn't enough, so I even took this EQ and I boosted the low end going into that saturation, which then just made it break up in this crazy way. And if you look carefully, you can see my meters, they're going into the red. But once again, I'm trying to help you to understand how sometimes the sound that you're after is on the other side of just breaking all of the rules. It's just like chaotic, but it just adds so much feeling. There's an aggression, like the way rock feels, like the low end is struggling, like it's bursting out of the speakers. And it's just all happening because ultimately I'm just driving things really aggressive in tasteful places. And once again, this isn't a technical video because this isn't something where we could say every single time you have this kick and this bass, you should do this. But ultimately, I wanted that to feel aggressive, you know? And I was just pushing things. It could be anything, like, but just trying to chase like that feeling is so important. Because let's say, for example, that I didn't have this distorting and I was to add a gain because I want to make sure that I level match, and technically the compressor's louder, so it should be level match. Let's see how that would have sounded. I mean, it's okay, it's not terrible, but it's not this. Absolutely disgusted. Take this sound, for example. This is a classic example of chasing feeling, because once you've developed that mindset of forget the rules, you actually end up becoming a lot freer in other areas because you just end up doing whatever you want. Like this sound, listen to how this sound actually sounds without anything on it. It's actually comedically bad. But check this out. Now, when I first got this sound, June, their presets are always going into the red. But instead of turning down the gain here, there was something that sounded great about their presets going into the red. So I just added a utility, once again, breaking the rules. And then I've got like a pitch shifter on here. But I'm not even using it for pitch shifting. I'm using it to like turn down the grain because it ends up just like breaking things up in a way, and then by adding this unison, it almost gives it like a chorus effect and then blending that in. And then I'm just using thermal. Now, I have no idea what this is doing. I literally went through presets, tweaked them a bit, and it ended up doing this. And then after that, I said, you know what, it still doesn't feel gritty enough. So I found this plugin called Dent, which is some kind of distortion. I ended up coming across this preset called Jimmy Feedback, which just sounds like this. What even is that? But then that still wasn't enough. Let's just keep pushing it. So I ended up making this shaper go and trigger this gain envelope so that it essentially gave it the feeling like it was turning the gain on and off really, really fast. And that gave it this vibe. At this point, we don't know what we're making, but I felt like it was too in time. So the last thing I did is I added this little thing here called the align delay, but I synced it to be connected left and right and then just basically offset it so the whole thing started a little bit later, and that just gave it a little bit of this bounce. And when you put all of that together, then you end up getting this really, really cool, quirky sound, which just wouldn't have happened if I'd just not broken all of the rules. So what's the point of this video? Short and sweet, but ultimately just find ways to chase the feeling more than the technical. Don't allow your technical brain to prevent you from doing things, because ultimately in doing those things that break the rules, you'll end up getting just more innovative, creative, crazy sounds, and you might just stumble across that feeling that you've been trying to chase with all those technicalities. My name's Alex Elliott. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. If there's any cool ways that you love to break the rules, then also let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you all next time.